Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Australia Day. My name is Dom Carter, and together with Logan Whitford, it is our pleasure to be your MCs for today's ceremony.
We're the school captains here at Lucindale Area School, and on behalf of Naracoorte, Lucindale... Oh, a bit closer. That better? There we go, that's it. We are the school captains here at Lucindale Area School, and on behalf of the Naracoorte Lucindale Council and LINC, we warmly welcome you all here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to officially welcome Patrick Mayor Ross.
I think it could be his first radio too. There are plenty of seats still here at the front for those out the back. I did mention it earlier, but I had no luck. Now, I think the Scouts have already assembled. Yep. I think the Scouts, and we'll pause for assembly, and we're going to stand now for the flag and the national anthem.
Soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Just please remain standing. Acknowledgement to country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Mindtung people, and pay our respects to the elders of past, present and future, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the cultures and the hopes of Aboriginal Australia. Please be seated. Thank you all for joining us in our special celebration for Australia Day this year. Australia Day is an opportunity for all Australians to come together as a nation to reflect, respect and celebrate. We reflect on our complete and complex history, and we respect the stories of others. We celebrate our nation, its achievements and, most of all, its people. And we also celebrate living in a nation where everyone's views, beliefs and contributions are valued. Understanding and being part of the continuing story of Australia is a way we can all belong. We have received apologies today from our federal member for Barker, Mr Tony Passon, and the state member for MacKillop, Mr Nick McBride, who both passed on their best wishes for a successful event. Mr. Passon also forwarded this message, which I read on his behalf. Thank you for your invitation to celebrate Australia Day with the community. Unfortunately, I am unable to join you as I have accepted invitations elsewhere within the electorate. On the 26th of January, Australians around the nation and those living abroad reflect on what it means to be Australian. We acknowledge and celebrate the contribution of every Australian, of every person to this land. We are home to the oldest continuing culture on earth, as well as the cultures of those from the four corners of the earth that have come to call Australia home. No matter our place of birth or our ancestral ties, we are united by our values and shared geography. Most importantly, we all share a stake in our future. We all have responsibilities to each other and to the future generations of Australian to uphold these values and preserve our way of life. This is truly a nation of freedom and opportunity, even in tough times. As Australians, we strive to better ourselves while at the same time supporting others. To those who volunteer in your community, thank you. Your contribution, whether large or small, is what makes this nation great. To those who will proudly join our Aussie family today and become Australian citizens, welcome. Today, and indeed every day, I encourage you to celebrate what it means to be Australian, to work hard, to contribute to community, to a shared sense of mateship, belonging and prosperity. Happy Australia Day. Yours sincerely, Tony Passon MP, Member for Barker. It gives me an enormous amount of pleasure to welcome Mr. James Darling AM as our guest speaker. I've known James for quite a number of years. James is a farmer, artist, conversationist, conservationist. He's also a very good conversationist. He has lived at Duck Island, midway between Keith and the Coorong, for 48 years. He is credited with pioneering saltland agriculture in the 1980s and 90s and continues to manage extensive areas of high conservation native vegetation. He runs a herd of 4,000 EU-accredited black Duck Island composite cattle. James is also a writer, social activist and a philanthropist. Together with his partner Leslie Forward, he is a conceptual artist making social, political and environmental statements across Australia and around the world. Their medium is large and ephemeral art installations built with tons of Duck Island mallee roots. Their last overseas work, Living Rocks, a fragment of the universe, was seen by 75,000 people at the 2019 Venice Biennale and was the centrepiece of and inspiration for The Beauty of Early Life, an exhibition at ZKM Karlsruhe, Germany in 2021. James was appointed a member of the Order of Australia in the Queen's Birthday 2007 honours for service to conservation, the environment, particularly through the development of sustainable land management practices, to the arts and to the community of Keith. Please welcome our guest, James Darling.
Thank you very much. Mayor Patrick Ross, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let me begin by warmly welcoming everyone to Australia Day. Is that the right place? I consider it a day that every single Australian, without exception, can be free to celebrate. What we are all celebrating together is a legislative recognition of national identity. The 26th of January 1949 is the day the reality of Australian citizenship was born. Before that day, there was no such thing as an Australian passport or an Australian citizen. Before the 26th of January 1949, those born in Australia, Indigenous Australians included, were deemed to be British subjects under the governance and laws approved by the British monarchy. The Australian Constitution has nothing to say about Australian citizenship. Australians fought 2 world wars as British subjects. By the end of the Second World War, it had become obvious that the status of British subjects was untenable. Commonwealth nations began to assert their own citizenship and identity. First Canada, then New Zealand, Australia and South Africa. The Pacific War made the Chifley government understand the importance of immigration. Populate or perish was the common rallying cry. Arthur Calwell, a young Victorian ALP politician, became the first Federal Minister for Immigration. On January the 26th, 1949, the Nationality and Citizenship Act became law, and the Australian citizen came into existence. The Act gave citizenship by birth, by descent, and set out a series of regulations for the granting of Australian citizenship. Citizenship was automatic for the first peoples of Australia who had lived in this land for up to 2,000 generations. They, along with the new arrivals, became governed by Australian law for the first time. Some politicians thought the Act did not go far enough in explaining the rights and privileges of being an Australian citizen. The Liberal Country Party opposition were outraged. They deplored the Act, describing it as a plot designed to destroy the empire. It will symbolise, said Arthur Calwell, not only our pride in Australia, but also our willingness to offer a share in the future to new Australians that we are seeking in vast numbers. They can also aspire to the honour of Australian citizenship. Like much of Australia, our region is opening its arms to those who have been persecuted, to those who aspire to a better life, extending that invitation to different cultures, nationalities and creeds. Australian communities have been strengthened, broadened, enlivened by that diversity. I would like to finish by commending the Lucindale Community Award winners. All communities, regional communities especially, need people like you. You serve as an example and a standard for us all. Well done and congratulations. It would be impossible for me to be in Lucindale today without acknowledging the tragic death of Brevet Sergeant Jason Doig, a long-standing and much-respected member of the community. Good country cops are as valuable as country GPs. They know how to live within their communities, keep that intuitive distance, the balance for the need for fairness and firmness. I acknowledge the community's dependence on all first responders. Their courage is based on the fact that they cannot be sure of what they might find. Jason's death was shocking, arbitrary, a tragedy for all concerned, his family, his friends, his colleagues, this region and beyond. On this day, it is fitting that we honour Jason's memory in the heart of the community he served. And on this day in Naracoorte, 4 Afghanis and a Sri Lankan became Australian citizens. I was able to applaud their commitment and bid them welcome. And in our love of country, tough love, brittle love, resounding love, love that stands the test of time, let our passion and patriotism be informed by historical truths, by a willingness to be open to greater understandings, and by the resolute loyalties of citizenship in our evolving nation. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Very special words. We've already given him a box of chocolates for his work. It now gives me great pleasure to present this year's Lucindale Australia Day Awards. The Lucindale Citizen of the Year Award, the Lucindale Active Citizen Award, the Lucindale Young Citizen of the Year Award, and the Lucindale Community Event of the Year Award are proudly presented by the Australia Day Council of South Australia and administered by the Naracoorte Lucindale Council. The awards acknowledge the unsung heroes of our community who, through their contributions, make our community a better place. These individuals and organisations offer outstanding service each day and enable our community to be stronger as a result of their tireless efforts. It is with great pleasure that I present the Lucindale Australia Day Citizen of the Year Award to Erin McWaters. For her outstanding contribution to the Lucindale community, particularly her volunteer work and fundraising contributions. Erin's nomination for this award says that she just hasn't stopped since her arrival in Lucindale. Landing herself a role with Nutri and Ag Solutions, she quickly became very involved in the community, helping Andrew Wilkes and Rowan Giles with their fundraising for the Cancer Council's national fundraiser, the Shitbox Rally. Erin has since served as president of the Lucindale Netball Club, a member of the Social Club Committee for the Lucindale Football Club and Netball Clubs, and headed and helped coordinate the Hay Runners collection team for landholders affected in the catastrophic Lucindale fires. More recently, she also did the trek from Port Douglas to Adelaide for the 2023 Shitbox Rally, along with her good mate, Shannon Burdett, raising more than $105,000 for the Cancer Council. The highest fundraisers for the whole rally, in fact ever. Erin's nomination for today's award says it's like she's been born and bred in Lucindale and describes herself as most giving and describes her as the most giving, honest and generous person around. The nominee says Erin just loves helping, with her time spent between club events, either cooking the barbecue, making salads or helping coach juniors, through to changing the light bulb in the change rooms. In the nominee's own words, if someone else says it can't be done, you just ask Erin and voila, it's done. Congratulations, Erin, and I invite you to have some words. And here is your little thing. And here is your little... And please say some words.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick Mayor Ross. Thank you, Patrick. First of all, thanks to the Naracoorte Lucindale Council for hosting the Australia Day Citizen of the Year ceremony, and to the Lucindale community for providing such a beautiful and open space and bringing the wind. Congratulations to the other winners today, all very, very worthy recipients, and knowing them all personally, I know the hard work that you all put in, so very well done. Every job, every triumph, every gust of wind, you right, Fitzy? And every success never comes down to one person. It's always a merry band of helpers that all put in to achieve the end result. To all the hard-working community members nominated for this award or not, whether I have had the privilege of working alongside of you or whether your labours are spent on other community groups, your efforts are not unrecognised, and you are the reason that Lucindale is such a brilliant place to live, work and be involved in. Thank you to my family and friends that have supported me along the way, including my tribe, you know who they are, who have delayed or come back from camping to be here, and my parents who have travelled 7 hours to be here today. Mum and Dad, who are sitting in the second row with the white hat on. You are the reason behind my eagerness to be involved in any community that I live in. Having grown up watching you both lead and participate in so many community groups my whole childhood, whether it was, and I'm not going to list them all off, but president, secretary, committee members, school, governing council, netball, football, basketball, tennis, vaccine, church, CFS, sailing club, pretty much everything that they could possibly be involved in, they were involved in. I never understood why they did that, what they did, being out at meetings every night of the week and taking time out of their own weekends, volunteering when no other parents would. But once I started volunteering myself, I totally understand why you did it now. I'm proud to be added to the list of recent remarkable Citizens of the Year for Lucindale, including Mr. Patrick Ross himself, and my close friends Amanda Clark and Vanessa Clark, sorry Amanda, wherever Vanessa is. Vanessa Clark and Amanda Carter. It's also an honour as my dad, Vaughan, was also a recipient of the Citizen of the Year on the York Peninsula back in the year 2000. The town of Lucindale has very quickly become my second home for the last 3.5 years, and I've got Sam Gratz to thank for that, who's on holidays, so not here, for offering me the job here. We've known each other for about 15 years, and he was well aware of that I would come into the community with a willingness to participate in the community and probably not going to get 100% of my work day spent at work. To the sneaky little devil who nominated me, whoever you are, sitting or standing, you're probably here today. I hope you realise how nerve-wracking this has been for me, and I've been shaking the whole time, not quite as much as I would if I was driving out the 4 mile. Now, I can't speak for every volunteer when I say this, but I don't know anyone that would volunteer their time for the accolades or the awards. However, I do believe it is important to recognise these people in the community. If it only inspires one person to be a volunteer in the community, then it is job well done. So in finishing, if you are young or old or mature, new to town, bored or have some spare time, volunteer somewhere. There are so many places you can volunteer in Lucindale. Don't need to be appreciated or recognised, or you can if you need, but CFS, SA Ambulance, sporting groups, scouts, field days, Link, everywhere. Give back to our wonderful community. It is so rewarding. You will get far more back than you put in, I promise. It is an honour to be able to accept this award today. On behalf of all the amazing volunteers that I work alongside, I'm proud to call Lucindale and Australia home. Thanks.
I think we may have just found our volunteer ambassador for the world. Congratulations, Erin, and those words were fantastic. Now it is, I say this a lot, it's now with great pleasure, and of course it is, that I present the Lucindale Active Citizen Award, and in fact it's to two citizens, to Shannon Burdett and Erin McWaters, for their outstanding fundraising contribution to the Cancer Council through the 2023 Shitbox Rally. So if you could make your way again. Shannon and Erin made up the Lucindale Survivors team for the Spring 2023 Shitbox Rally, a national fundraising event for the Cancer Council that involved driving a car purchased for less than $1,500 from Port Douglas to Adelaide over 7 days. It was a Ford. They had helped out a previous Lucindale Survivors team with its fundraising efforts a few years prior and decided in 2023 to take on the challenge themselves. They threw themselves into their fundraising efforts, holding many events and initiatives, including a cocktail night, lamb drive, auction and much more. Their final fundraising total was an unbelievable $105,790, which was the highest fundraising total by a team in the Shitbox Rally since inception in 2018. They are now signed up for the Autumn 24 Shitbox Rally, which will see them travel from Adelaide to Perth via Uluru in the same car. Surely the Shitbox. A Ford Falcon station wagon. Beautiful. The award nomination for Shannon and Erin describes them both as incredibly kind, helpful and community-minded. Wherever they see a need, they pitching without question and without wanting any accolades. Shannon and Erin are much loved and valued members of the Lucindale community who are always willing to volunteer their time and energy to help others. Shannon is also a big contributor to the Lucindale Football Club and Erin the Lucindale Netball Club. But you will also find them volunteering for many other groups and individuals around the community, often under the radar. Congratulations, Shannon and Erin, and I invite you, Shannon, to say a few words.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm never ever going to top Erin's speech, so I'll keep this very short, sharp and shiny. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I'd like to thank the council for putting on this event to recognise us volunteers. And most importantly, I want to thank, or we would like to thank, the Lucindale community for their incredibly generous support throughout our fundraising. Without you all, we would never have achieved the amount that we achieved. Thank you.
It now gives me, thank you very much, Shannon and Erin, and we look forward to autumn, and I'm sure the community will dig deep again. It's now a great pleasure that I present the Lucindale Young Citizen of the Year Award to Michaela Baker for her outstanding contribution to the Lucindale community, and in particular for her establishment of the Lucindale Playgroup. Michaela's nomination says she's she willingly volunteers her time, knowledge and energy wherever she can see a need within the community. In 2023, she began the very successful Lucindale Playgroup with an educational play opportunity for preschoolers and their parents held on Friday mornings at the Lucindale Community Hub. Having seen a need for this service in the community, and with her experience as a qualified early childhood educator, she completed the required training and registration with Playgroup SA at her own cost, and then approached Link for the Lucindale Playgroup to become a member, additionally agreeing to join the Link committee. Michaela also initiated a community toy drive, which was met with overwhelming support and secured many donations of equipment for the Lucindale Playgroup sessions. She also successfully secured funding from the Naracoorte Lucindale Council's Community Chess Program for the playgroup. Michaela has also been involved with the Lucindale Tennis Club for a number of years, including serving as secretary and the club's representative on the Lucindale Country Club Committee. She has also served as a staff representative on the Balharry Memorial Children's Centre Governing Council, and goes above and beyond her role as a staff member, voluntarily helping parents with fundraising and other activities. Michaela's nominee for today's award described her as a can-do person who consistently puts her hand up to help when she can see a need. The success of the Lucindale Playgroup is testament to the need for this service in our community, a gap that Michaela noticed and voluntarily took the initiative to put her time and her skills towards filling. Congratulations, Michaela. A few words for the baby. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everybody coming out today. Thank you to the community and everybody that gets involved and volunteers their time to help in the various things to provide opportunities for all of us every day. Thank you to Link, especially for the playgroup, and the community for all their donations. It wouldn't be possible without Link having a venue and the community all getting involved. We're very lucky we've got so many kids in the town, so it's such a great thing to have. Thank you everybody.
And it's now with great pleasure that I present the Lucindale Community Event of the Year Award to the Lucindale Country Club for hosting Tennis SA State League All-Stars. Do we have a representative? The Lucindale Country Club hosted the major event on Saturday the 25th of November last year, which everyone will remember there was a bit of rain that night, which was a spectacular showcase of the state's highest level competition. It was only the third time the event had visited regional South Australia and followed highly successful events in Port Lincoln and the Riverland in previous years. 8 Tennis SA State League players travelled to Lucindale to join local tennis players to make 2 teams and go head-to-head in singles, doubles and mixed doubles matches. The All-Stars event at the Lucindale Country Club was complemented with a range of activities for everyone, including a kids zone, golf competition and Southern Ports Tennis Association junior and senior competitions. The All-Stars joined the Southern Port Tennis Association junior competition as on-court coaches, providing valuable support and advice throughout the morning. They also visited the Lucindale Area School and met with students the day before the event. After a rain-interrupted day on Saturday, an All-Stars celebratory dinner was hosted by the Lucindale Country Club in the evening. Tennis SA Head of Tournaments, Competitions and Officiating, Dylan Hicks, described the event as a huge success. He said the local community really embraced the event and 10SSA were very appreciative of the warm welcome they received in our area and the generous support of the Lucindale Country Club along with local supporters. 10SSA State League All-Star champion Hayley Risen said there was so much work that the Lucindale Country Club put in, and particularly thanked Eliza Hanbury and Leanne Gratz for driving the event. And congratulations again, Lucindale's Australia Day Community Event of the Year representative, and I'm sure you'd like to say some words, Angus.
Thank you, Patrick. The credit goes to Liza Hanbury for organising this right from the start and pushing it, and also for our tennis committee, Michaela and Mitch, and the country club committee and the tennis members in general. And it's an honour on behalf of the country club to accept the award. Thank you.
Australian Citizenship Affirmation Ceremony. Now we move on to the Australian Citizenship Affirmation Ceremony, which was introduced in 1999 and is becoming an integral part of Australia Day celebrations. Significantly, this year, as James pointed out, marks the 75th anniversary of Australian citizenship. The words of the Australian Citizenship Affirmation are based on the pledge, and participation is voluntary and carries no legal status. Participating in the affirmation ceremony is a means of expressing our pride in being Australian, and provides an opportunity to affirm our loyalty to Australia and its people. The words of the affirmation can be found on the back of your program. Everyone is welcome to participate, and I'd ask non-citizens to join in at the second line. So if you would like to take part, I invite you all to stand. And if you would recite after me. As an Australian citizen, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I uphold and obey. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Dominic.
That concludes the formality for this Australia Day celebration.
Please join us once again in congratulating our Australia Day award winners.
Thank you, Dominic and Logan, for sharing the Master of Ceremonies. As I said, in Naracoorte, it's most probably their first rodeo for the year. It's going to be a long one, emceeing in various capacities. So a small token to share with your family. And thanks very much.
Thank you.
Happy Australia Day, everybody. And you can smell the barbies burning out the back. Thanks for coming. Photos. And all those recipients, photos. Photos. Yes. Excellent. And I want one with you, James, too.